and welcome to this new project. I'm going to install a Nest Learning thermostat. This is third generation. Watching these over the years, but we've been using in our home the Honeywell, and it's a radio control, sends a signal to a receiver and controls by a timer and by thermostat. And it's just started playing up. We've had it for about 12 years, 10 years. And it's time to upgrade and go modern. So I've been watching these Googles. They're not the cheapest, but they're dead cool. And they say that they do a lot of work in setting your temperatures efficiently, monitoring you through your iPhone when you come and go, and builds up a pattern of your life. Big Brother is watching you. But for us, what I want to do is take us through step-by-step installation into my system. Every system I've discovered is different. And my system has got a separate heating clock, I'll show you later, and also onto the boiler to set the central heating on. So that's for the hot water and central heating, two separate systems. And I want to combine them as one in this system. But I couldn't find online anybody who did it. So I'm just going to do it myself. How cool is that? Okay, let's have a go. I'm going to unpack it first. Very good. This came during lockdown as well, so I had to wait a little bit longer to get it, but it's here. My wife's terrified that when I put it in there will be no heating for the rest of the winter, but I'm confident. Okay, there is a little seal on it to break to go into it. There it is there. You can see that seal. We're going to just where it says the arrow there. I'm now open the seal. There is no return. And we're in. Oh, the excitement. So here we go. We have got this is the thermostat, which is a bit like Iron Man. You know the thing he has on his chest? Well, that's why it's so cool, because this is our own Iron Man. There we go. And that'll sit on a stand with a charger plugged in, and that will stay in the room. And I'm going to keep that covered, because I don't want anything to happen crazy to this bit, because we'll come to that a lot later on for programming. Now, what else is in the box? Oh, look at that. It's a bit like getting an iPhone. You know the way it's got all these little gadgety bits on the box and stuff. So in here, I've got all of my installation information. I like that. I like it a lot. And it's in all the different languages. But it's in British as well. Installing the heatsink. This is the part that will replace my timer for my hot water and my activator for the central heating. So they'll all plug into my heatsink. This is a British thing. In America, they don't do it. They go straight into the replacement of the thermostat, which is great if you can do it, but I don't have any thermostats. This is the heatsink. Looks really cool. Out of the box, and look at that. There's more stuff. Whoa, screws and everything. Little mounting plates. And here is my heatsink. So a quick look in the heatsink will show us there's a little screw just there. Is it? It just spins. That's it. Little screw just there. Comes out and that pops open. And there we have what's mounted on the wall. So very simple. On my device, you've got two settings here. I don't use T1 or T2. That goes off to the thermostat. But I'm going to use the neutral and live coming in there. It says I don't need an earth for it. There is an earth situation there. But it says I don't need an earth. But I've got neutral, live, and then I've got 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6. And simply, I'm going to bring a live link to here, and then a link to here. And then that will be my signal going off to my hot water and my signal going off to my central heating. and it just completes the circuit. That's the theory of it all. Okay, so that's what's in the box, including this portion here, which is the little bracket for it. Only connect with a Google Nest Thermostat base to 12-volt wires or USB connector. Okay, that's cool. So let's see how we're going to put all this together on the wall. So we've taken off the back plate of the heatsink and taken off the little covers here. And what I want to do is get little jumpers and links to go in between number 2, which is the common, and number 5, which is the common. So I'm going to make this up into little links that will link back into the live. So the live becomes the common, and then that is the send signal. When it's called for heat, it will go for that, and call for hot water, it'll go for that. That makes sense? Yeah, of course it does. Okay, let me do this. I'll get back to you. So I've created little jumpers. Goes from the live into the common and into the common. This being the central heating circuit, and this being the hot water circuit. So by linking those two, I can then bring my live in and then bring my signals in, and then when it's switched on, completes the circuit and sends 240 volts off to the boiler. Okay, that's it so far. So looking at my boiler, this is the schematic of what I want to do. I've already looked at my boiler and ensured that from my boiler comes a 240 volts. The 240 volts feeds the live of my heatsink, and then also becomes the common of my hot central heating and the common of my hot water. The it's normally closed, normally open, normally closed, normally open. So my output is 3. So when the signal is sent from my wonderful Iron Man bit, and it says temperature needs to come on in the house, click over there, and that sends a signal to the valve that opens the water on the boiler. And when that gets a signal, it fires up to the boiler and tells the boiler to pump the hot water around my system. So it opens the valve, calls the boiler, and brings in the hot water. Similarly, when my tank is being heated, and I usually heat the hot water up, it's got a sensor on the hot water as well, and that comes into this valve, and it opens it up, and that starts to heat around my cylinder tank that gives me my hot water, and that is monitored as well. I usually plan that to come on mid-morning, and there's enough hot water, does me the whole day, so that's quite cool. There you can also get thermostats on your water boiler as well. So that is the schematic. It's called YPLAM, and that's what I'm going to use in my system. So the heating system that we currently use is through this Honeywell controller, and this is simply a thermostat and timer that sends a signal by radio frequency to this receiver, and when it's on, the heating comes on, and when it's off, the heating goes off. It's a simple little timer. And then on top of that, we have got here is our timer for our hot water, which is this tank below us here, and this hot water is timed with the little push out little bits there, and it comes on for that little time in the morning that heats that tank, and that stays warm for us through the whole day. Before installing an Nest, it's important to find out what type of heating system you have. And this is a very quick schematic of our home heating system. So we have the boiler here, and the boiler is fired up and used to heat the hot water tank, which runs off to heat the hot water in the shower and into the kitchen, etc. And we also have the boiler system is heating the radiators. When the pump is activated, it pumps the hot water around the radiators and back again. But our system is called a regular boiler system. So in the loft, we have a header tank, and that through gravity produces the move
of the water through the system. So the water from the boiler heats the tank, hot water tank, and goes out, and also the radiators as well. So that's called a regular boiler. There are combination boilers, there are conventional boilers, there are heat sink, all sorts of boilers, but ours is the regular boiler system.
So the tank itself is a copper cylinder, and it is controlled by heated from the boiler, pushing hot water around it, and then also it has a electrical element within it that can be used if the boiler is not working or if you need heat during the day. That's the top right hand, there it is there. That's the electrical element going into it, and that's a temperature measurer there, so it doesn't go beyond what the temperature setting. That also controls the boiler as well. So it's a very simple setup for having hot water in the house, and that has its own controller there on this ring with the little dots. So the first job is to remove the panels and get at the wiring behind these two little blocks. So the first thing to do is to remove these panels so that I can get at the electrics behind it. And really what we're doing is we're completely doing away with this unit, and we're taking the cabling which is in this unit to put into our new Google Nest. Here we see the wiring coming in and the signal going back to the boiler. They've used an earth cable for that on this system. And then on this one, you can see the cables coming in. Lovely job. And again, we have the incoming cables here, and then going out through the back here and into here. So to the control, it's the same 240 volts that feeds this, and the signal and everything is butted onto this and taken out to here. You can see the red tape shows us which one is which. We need to mark ours as well, so I know which one is for the central heating and which one is for the hot water tank. First thing to do is isolate our system from the power, so that we know that we definitely don't have any electricity on this circuit that we're working. You can see it here, listen. And here. So we want to isolate this circuit so that there is no 240 volts. To do that, I have to go out to the boiler because that's where the send comes from. This is the boiler. Very simple setup for our Firebird S boiler. Here are the two valves, along here for the heating and along here for the hot water valve. So our control and our timers actually come through this connection box, and you see the black leads go to our heating controls, and they are opened, which then releases the boiler to put hot water through either the central heating system or indeed into the hot water bottle. But this is our power inlet coming down. I'm going to switch that off, and I'm going to take the fuse out of it so that we know there is no way that power is coming into our boiler system. So I'm removing the fuse from the box there. That's us. So that is our fuse removed and the power off. Now we are isolated at the end that I'm working on. So now we test again. Circuit is dead and the circuit is dead. So we can now work safely on this cable in this place. So the first job is to remove this unit and then remove the cable from this unit as well. I want to be left with one cable that has my 240 volts live, neutral and earth, and has my send for the hot water and for the central heating. In order to ensure that I keep the right connections, I'm going to mark my cable now with a white piece of tape to ensure that I know that this is the central heating signal cable. So we've now removed all the old controllers, and I'm left with our main cable. The earth in this heat link is not being used, we don't need it. And we've got here the signal to the hot water, signal to the central heating, and then the live and the neutral to power the heat link. The heat link is going to try and get installed on here, so we want a way to bring all them in tidily. So that's my next step. I'm going to connect all the cables into their rightful parts. You see how we've fitted it quite cleanly in there. It's all tightly packed, and we've got the live and the neutral and the marked of the central heating, and the black cable on the outside is the sent to the hot water. So it's all tightly in. I've put it on its side because of where the cable comes out, but it fits quite, so I can close the door as well on the cupboard above and below without it getting in the way. So that's the best fit for me. It's all tightened up, and I'm ready now just to mount it on to the board there, and then we'll start trying it out, put the power back on and see if we can activate the boiler from here. All right, best bit yet to come. And there's the first part completed. This is the heat link that has been installed. I left the cable in. I'll have to do a bit of redecorating around. That's the old green, but generally that's fitted lovely. I'll tidy up around here. And we'll test now to see. I'll go and re-establish the power and test to see that we're getting a switch on and switch off by just pressing this center button. Okay, so to test the unit, we see that it's searching for its Wi-Fi, which we've not connected in yet. But generally want to test, does this switch it on? Look at that. We've got a green light. The boiler is now being activated to send heating round to the house. So that's good, all working there. Let's now go and program the other end of it all. Okay, so the next part of our journey is to look at the stat itself, the thermostat. So in our box we have the thermostat with its connectors and charger, and we have in the box the wall mount as well. I'll unpack this, do it gently because I'm not sure I'm going to use the wall mount. Maybe vlog it on eBay. There we go. And that sits in like that. And the charger can access it. That's really good. Very cool. And you've got screws for it as well in the box for mounting it on the wall. That's it. Oh, no, it's the back plate. That can be used as well. I love the little thing. Look at, can you see at the top? There's a spread level, comes part of it. So it ensures that you always get it level. That's very good. So that's what else is in the box. The other aspect of it is the power lead is needed. There's a power cable that I ordered, and open that. And that is the USB to a micro D that'll fit into the controller in there and go off to the charger. So we'll fit that next. So now the thermostat is beginning to charge up, going to the home page of it up, and I can start to set this up. Obviously it's not on the wall, but you see the outside rotates round very simply. I'll let that charge for a little while and then going to download the app. So I'm going to set my language, i.e. US. I'm just about UK. English UK. Confirm choice. Internet connection. Very good. I'll go and get my password and enter that. So I've got the thermostat is now online and it's checking for software updates. Let's let it do that. Now it's asked me about my location. Whereabouts am I? So I'm going to tell it to continue. Is it? Yes, it is. Well spotted. Please describe this location. I'll put it in the living room. Equipment. What do you want to add? I don't have anything to add as yet, so I'll skip this. Heat link connected wirelessly. Good. That means it's all working at that end. So continue. What type of heating do you have? I have a combi boiler. Heating. Source. I've got oil. Delivery is radiators. Yeah, it's a simple on off. Okay, let's go through those again and continue. Still with me? Very good. Combi boiler, heat with on off. Continue. Temperature. Save energy by using the eco temperature when no one's at home or turn them off manual anytime. Choose your eco temperature. It's not very economical, but I like it. Nest app. Would you like to control this thermostat with your Nest app? Yes, I would. Okay, let me go and do this and I'll get back to you soon. So here we are, we're finished in now. It's connected to my internet and it's also communicating with my heat link, and I can adjust the temperature up or down and get it cooked up into a nice warm house. Yeah, everything seemed to go smoothly, seems to be working well. I'll let you know if the heating's coming on. But yes, any comments, please put them down below, and do subscribe and get any other interesting little things I'm doing about the house. How cool is that? I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.